Life can change in an instance. Maybe you just lost a job. Maybe there's a new medical diagnosis. Or maybe there's just some other life event that is resulting in some major changes, and that could be including selling a property. I assure you, if you're in that situation, you're not alone. Today, I'm going to walk through a few practical steps to hopefully make this process smoother for you. Real quick, I'm Erica Carlson with Bricks Real Estate. I happen to be a special needs mom to a beautiful child that's about 17 now with autism. I'm also a former teacher for the Buffalo School District. And these days, well, the last 7 years, I'm a full-time real estate agent that specializes in the Western Metro. I've worked with homeowners that have been in these difficult or special circumstances. The stress of a major life event is, just enough on its own. But adding a home sale to that is going to make it extra overwhelming. Towards the end of this video, I'm going to do a 1-minute market update. So if this information I'm about to share doesn't pertain to you or someone you know, I encourage you to jump to the end of the video to get that quick update about our current market state. Do you need to sell quickly? Do you need to find one of those companies that does like a cash for keys? Or do you have time to fix the property up and improve it to get that maximum ROI? There's no right or wrong here. Don't just call one company. There's loads of people out there that are looking for properties that are in whatever condition they're currently in so that they can maximize their profits. The important thing for you to know, and maybe this is a video for another time, is that you are going to take a significantly reduced amount of money, potentially a lot more if you did it a different way. I recently did this with a client and we did a full case study. I mean, it wasn't our intention, but we went one route, and when we went the other, we ended up making him a lot more money, even though he paid my commission, even though he put it on the MLS, and it didn't take any longer to find a buyer. And in fact, the situation worked out so much better for him. Now, I know that's just one scenario. And again, there's loads of companies out there that are happy to give you a quote and pay for the house in that condition. Just remember, we can all sell properties in any condition. We don't have to necessarily sell it to the first company that we talk to that's willing to give us an offer. They're going to tell you, I can close whenever you want. You don't have to clean anything. All of this is very appealing, and it may be the perfect scenario for you. I'm not here to say which scenario is right or wrong, but I do think you should have an advocate to help you discern whether that is the best way for you to do this in your situation. So my second tip, I want to make sure that you are clear on your financial situation. Get an idea of what is left on a mortgage, if there is one. What kind of equity could there be to be made in this situation in the event we're going to sell the property? What other expenses are happening? I'm thinking particularly about somebody who might be selling a property to somebody, their property of somebody who recently passed away. So you're going to have to gather all that information. There's no way around it. If there's still bills to be paid, we need to be aware of those expenses, especially a time like this. We don't want the water turned off and pipes to be freezing, things like that. If you are potentially facing a foreclosure, please reach out to your mortgage company or real estate agent to help you find resources. There might be things you can do to avoid that or to slow down the process while you get things together. There's a lot you can do to simplify the process. And so that's my third tip, which is work with a real estate agent that understands what you are going through. If you do hire a real estate agent, get clear about which things they are handling and which things they're not, because I can tell you from personal experience, sometimes there's a disconnect of what the job is that I think I'm providing and then what the other party might be expecting. So for example, there may be a real estate agent who's willing to hold a garage sale and help you clean out all the personal property that you no longer want. However, I would not say that's like something I would expect or anticipate. I would expect to do that on my own. But again, working with that agent, you may realize I don't need to move anything. Maybe you don't want to take things with you and you can just sell the property with these items. But it's hard to answer these questions in this generic form of a video where I don't know who I'm talking to. So it's, of course, it's hard for me to get into those details. But things like negotiations, certainly you shouldn't be preparing or feeling like you have to learn how to do this really well if you've got an agent helping you. Of course, if you're doing it on your own, that's a completely different situation. Staging, is that something they provide? Is there another fee for this? For example, I do complimentary staging consults, which means this person will come in and help you say, put the lamp on this side of the room or the chair over here or move this from this, but they're not going to move the things around, and it would be an additional fee to rent furniture, for example, if that's what level of service you needed. Just as a side note, there are companies out there that will help you not only declutter but pack, help you do the donation pile versus the keep pile, etc. I'm not saying anybody is particularly low cost. There's always a fee to these things, but there are companies out there that provide some of these services that I don't always see people understanding exist. And again, you want to know that before you start the process. So speaking of resources, I have a few I would like to offer you today. They are not in the link below necessarily. Well, one of them is. So if you just want an overall guide on how to sell your property, I've got the Smart Seller book, which I truthfully will, believe with all my heart, it could save you thousands of dollars or help you make more money if you took the time and read that book. I will not know you're downloading it. It's in the link below. That's probably the number one resource I'll recommend to you. If you're in a situation where you want to downsize, I do have a guide, and I would say just in the comments selection or reach out to me, just write the word downsize and I will send you the guide for that. But there are two other ones I want to run by you today that are much more sensitive in nature, and I know you would never want to comment publicly just to bring awareness to your neighbors and friends and family. So these, I'm going to say, reach out to me one-to-one. Your confidentiality is assured. I'm not going to tell anybody if you ask me for these resources, but I do have a divorce guide and I do have a facing foreclosure guide. And I'm always happy to talk to you about the nuances of these situations. But if that is something that you would find immensely helpful, please don't hesitate to ask. You're just reaching out to me personally. And like I said, I'll send it to you and get you that information that you need. So again, the link below will help you get a hold of me. There's other resources. We are doing a Valentine's giveaway. It's already February 12th. So we have today and tomorrow yet to apply if you want to get your entry in. Please remember, it's not only a chance to win some gifts, some date night type of things. I think I have a gift certificate to River Inn, a date night, like one of those paint and sip places, candles, things like that. There are going to be 4 winners. There's ways to get multiple entries in that you can see in the link below. But the more important thing is that it is a fundraiser for the Ronald McDonald House. Just real quick, our son ended up in a hospital. He ended up being there for about 1 year and 7 months. And so we relied on the Ronald McDonald House at the highest level that you possibly can imagine. I mean, I'm talking almost 2 years of staying in a not fully. We did end up staying in one for 6 months straight, which is highly unusual. It's actually not typical whatsoever to allow that level of duration of time, but we desperately needed that support from this charity and another one what we try to do as a family is, because they were so instrumental to our life during that time period, is we try to give back. And one way we can do that is with your support. It's really a low level ask, is fill out the entry form. Every entry will equal a $50 donation to this unbelievable charity that, like I said, is so near and dear to my heart. I think it's just the most amazing concept that somebody obviously came up with years ago. If you're willing to do that, the link is below. So let's quickly jump into the Twin Cities real estate market. We're going to keep this quick and simple. I post these every week just to keep you informed on what's going on. And while I've done Wright County in the past, we're going to focus on the Twin Cities. So the most important thing for you to know is we are in a seller's market. We have been for just a couple weeks now. We moved from stable to seller's market. You can see the star on my screen. It says 6.23, which in English is just saying it's a moderate low seller's market. It's not the most extreme. It's not 2021. So that means properties are going into multiple offers, maybe, going a little bit above list price, a little bit of competition. So buyers between now and, conservatively Memorial Day, you need to anticipate this more competitive marketplace. And so if that is not your thing, you are going to want to wait until after Memorial Day to buy a house. That is the truth. If you are willing to kind of get in there and start house shopping, don't be afraid of it. It is a silent auction. People make far too big of a deal out of this. There's ways to handle that. Inventory is a little bit down this time from last year. You can see on my screen 1.9%. Interest rates are hovering around 7%. That's a moving topic that doesn't stay still. Take that with a grain of salt, because I don't know your loan type. I don't know your lender. It's a 30-year. You could be doing a different product, and that information might not apply to you. So make sure you work with your loan officer to get accurate information. And then lastly, 45 days on market is what is average. But I want you to understand that a lot of that data is reflecting on stuff that is been on the market for a long time. So it is not encapsulating like what just came on the market this last week and how long that's going to take to sell. I wouldn't tell a seller that it should take 45 days to sell their house. So if you are a buyer and you're seeing 45 days, it's probably because it was on the market before the spring market hit. So you need to take that into account. If the house just went on the market yesterday, I would say give it a week. Some of these houses are selling within days. We're in that mode where, this is a stupid saying, but I always tell people sprint, don't jog to properties. If you love something you're excited about, you cannot put a showing request in a week from now. A week from now, it's long gone. You can't put in some generic question and then even a couple hours from now, it could be too late. They could have called highest and best. They could be already looking at offers and you're still back, thinking about it. So get pre-approved. Get yourself ready in position for this type of marketplace, which is a little bit more competitive. Again, nothing to be intimidated by. You just need to get your ducks in a row. I'm Erica. I appreciate that you made it to the end. I'll see you next Wednesday.